Hi guys, this is Tracy. I wanted to jump on quick today and make a tutorial since it's getting closer to the holidays and it's going to be time to start personalizing ornaments and making those gifts that we all want to make. I wanted to show you a few different features in Cricut Design Space if you're not familiar with using text, or even if you are, maybe you'll learn a few things, but I just wanted to show you some stuff using the text feature. So over here is where you're going to find your text. This is how it's going to pop up. It's going to have a gray box around it. Now if you click off of it, that gray box is going to be gone, so don't freak out. If you want to start typing on it, you just need to double click, and then you're going to put in a name or whatever it is, whatever you want to text. So let's just do, this is my grandson's name, so let's go ahead and do this. So this is the default font that comes up. This is the Cricut Sans font that comes up just like this. Take note of the little boxes that are all the way around here. If you hover over the corner, you can pull it to make it bigger. You can push in to make it smaller. Not smaller, but longer, I should say. Okay, making it smaller, you would just come in and out. So those are the first things that you can do. Now leaving it on the font that it is, I just want to show you a couple things that are up here. There is a curve tool, which this is really important when doing fonts, like round fonts, different projects that you want to do, you can curve it. And the best way to do that, I left my little guy in here because I want to show you. Go ahead and let's make him bigger so you can see better. And bring this over here. Using your curve tool, the easiest way to do it is to put it right on your project or bring in a shape that's going to represent your project. Now obviously this doesn't look too good here, so you would just have to play with it and manipulate it, change the font if you want to. But while it's on here, you can come up here and you can hover over where it says letter space, and you can make it so it's closer together. However it looks good to you. There's no right or wrong way to do it, whatever looks good for you. The only thing that would be, I guess, a rule, and it's not really a rule, but to make it look better, if you're using script font, I've seen this a lot when people first start, I used to do it too. If you're using script font, you don't want to have spaces in between your letters. You want everything to flow together. So just like if you're writing it yourself, if you're making a signature, if you're writing a letter in cursive, people still do that, you want all your letters to connect. You don't want spaces in between script font, and I'll see if I can find one over here just to show you. Let me see if I can find one. Okay, so now see how I've changed this? You don't want this separated right here. It's not a good look. So in this case, you would want to bring your letters all the way together. And then you would want to weld that. You always want to make sure that you weld your fonts. I'm going to make a duplicate of this so you guys can see what I'm talking about here. I'm just going to bring this in. Now, let me move this out of the way so you can see a little better here. Move that over. Okay, so if I change the color, oh, you can still see it on here. If you look through here, if you see these little, they overlap. If you do not weld this when you go to cut this with your vinyl, or whatever you're going to cut it with, cardstock, whatever, Cricut is going to cut each individual letter. And you don't want to do that, obviously. If you want it in a script font, you want it all to be together. You want it to be welded. If you leave it this way, it's going to cut it, but it's going to cut out holes in here. And you obviously don't want that look. You can go ahead and move it a little bit closer. You come down here where it says combine, and you're going to click weld. Now keep an eye on those little lines there. Now those went away. So now that's going to cut all as one piece. So that's what you want to make sure that you keep in mind when you're doing a script font. You want to make sure that you weld it first. Okay, so let's go ahead and get rid of that and bring this back over here. Okay, so I don't want to use a script font. Also, when your font box pops up, it's probably going to pop up over here. I don't know if you know you can move this. I like mine on the right side. It's just easier for me to see. The fonts that are, the Cricut fonts that are right here, all these ones, these are the Cricut Access fonts. So if you have Cricut Access, that's what you're going to see over here. You can filter for free fonts. And then this is going to show you the fonts that you can use for free inside of Cricut Design Space. Your system fonts are the ones that you have installed on your computer. So say, for example, if you're in my Facebook group and I share lots of the free fonts that I find, because, you know, I'm a font hoarder and I absolutely love fonts. Once you download it and install it to your computer, that's how you're going to find your system fonts. Those are the ones that are over here. So if you find a font that you really love, so let's just say, I'm going to type in one that I really like. This right here. If you want to bookmark it so you can find it later, click your little button right here and then it'll go to your bookmarks. But if I click on this now I want to manipulate this again so my letters are closer together. Now, if you see how I'm making this smaller and this is getting really close but this isn't, I'm going to make a duplicate of this again so you can see what I'm doing here. Oops, wrong button. I do that a lot. Do you guys do that? Now let's make a duplicate. Okay. So if I want to come up here, go to Advanced, Ungroup to Letters. Now I can manipulate this so it's a little bit closer. But keep in mind, once you do this, some of the features that are there before you ungroup may not be there when you come back. For example, let's go ahead and just group this for right now. Now, if I wanted to curve it again, it's no longer there because I ungrouped it. So you have to make sure, get it the way you want to first, then you can ungroup the letters and then you can manipulate it. So just keep that in mind when you're doing certain projects. If you're doing different features with text, some of them disappear after you ungroup them. Okay, so you could do like this. You could curve it if you want to. If it doesn't show up, you might have to get a little bit closer. The little curved arrow that helps you curve your font here. Okay, so that's just another option. Okay, so now, because I only grouped this, if I were to go make this right now, all of my letters are going to be separate. Okay, this is the one I'm talking about right here because I ungrouped this. I only grouped it, I did not attach it. So this is what you're going to see right here. So you want to make sure, if you're using this one, like we just showed, you want to make sure you come down here and attach this. So now when you go to make this, this is all going to cut together. Okay, so that would be for the attach feature. If you're going to use script font like we showed before, you want to use the weld feature. Okay, so those are just a couple different things there that you can use with the text feature. So let me see what else we can do. Move him over here. Now let's say you have a sign that you want to make. Let's say we're going to do Merry Christmas. All right, let's find another font that we might want to use. Let me look at my bookmarked ones. Oh, you can also go to recent too. So if there's fonts over here that you used recently, those will pop up over here. So let me find, I don't know, I'm just going to pick one here. We'll go back to this one here. Okay, so now you can see how far apart these are. You can come up here to the line space and you can just keep clicking on this to get it so it's closer together. Or you can come over here to Advanced, Ungroup to Lines, and now you have two separate lines and you can move this up. If you wanted to grab both of them, you can come up here to a line and you can center it. You can move it all to the left, you can move it all to the right. Okay, a couple different options there. And if you've watched any of my videos in the past, you know that I always tell you whatever you see on your screen is just for visual purposes. The color of your project is what you're going to put on your mat. So let's say you wanted to do this in green. If you come over here to make it, now I have not welded this yet, so it's going to be all over the place. If I were to come over here to make this, if you put this on a black mat, it's going to cut out of black. Okay, so just keep that in mind. This is strictly for visual purposes. All right, and I have not welded this. So that's a good point to make right here. So even though I didn't weld it, I said it was going to be all over the place. Well, it wasn't. It's all together. But when you go to cut this, it's going to slice in the middle. So you want to make sure that you weld your font first. Now, you know, I could be wrong with this because it used to be that you had to weld your projects, but Cricut may have fixed that. So maybe you don't have to weld, but always to be safe, I always go ahead and I weld. And another thing that you can do, let's say you really like this font. I'm going to make a duplicate of this. It used to also be that you could come back to after you've welded something and click on it and then find the name of that. But I don't know if that feature is still there to find that name of that font. So let's say I made an ornament last year and I want to come back and use it again and I can't remember the name of the font that I used, because once you click weld, this now just says weld and I don't know what the font was, where if I click on this, it's going to tell me what my font is. So one thing that you can do, you can either come over here and type in the name of the font so that when you come back next time, it'll be there. Or you can duplicate this. We can change this to a guide. And now I can type in, well, actually it might stay as a guide. I was going to say you could type in the name, Alexia Bright script there so you remember next time. Or you can just leave it the way it is and it's going to show it. It's just a little trick. I'm somebody who has a hard time remembering things. I don't know if it's my age or if it's just, you know, too many things going on. But this is a good tip so that you can remember what font that you have. And because you changed it to a guide, this will not cut. This is only going to be something that's going to stay on your screen or in your layers panel. It won't cut. It's just a guide for you to remember next time. Okay, so that's another little tip. So let's say before we weld this, let's go ahead and change this. Let's say we want to, I don't know, use this font here. Let's say we want to move the letters around. If we come up here and ungroup to letters, you can then take your letters and make them bigger in here and then make this one smaller. This is another way that you can manipulate how things look. So get creative, move things around, change your colors of each individual color. You can change if you want to. You can do something like that. Let's say you wanted to do this as an ornament. Or if you wanted to put this, I don't know, on a personalized tag or something. Let's go ahead and zoom in on this. Let's say you wanted to add a name in here and you want to slice it out. So let's do, we'll just do it on this one. Let me do another text box here. And let me change the color of this. You know, let me change. I don't know if you guys know you can change your canvas color. If you click on this up here, it'll make your grid go away if you want to. But you can also come through here and you can change your canvas color down here to make it maybe a little bit better on your eyes. Okay. So let's say we wanted to, I don't know. Go ahead and bring those a little bit closer together. Closer so you can see here. Okay, so let's say I wanted to slice this out of here. Click on your offset and let's put a little offset on there, not too big. All right, just like that. Oops. Gotta make sure I save it. A little smaller. Okay. Click apply. And let's just go ahead and make that orange just so I can see it a little bit better. I'm going to take this out of here. This, I want to come down to my contour and I'm going to hide all contours. Come back. Now I want to take these two right here and I want to weld this. And the reason I'm going to weld it is because I'm going to slice this out of here, and you can only slice two things in Cricut Design Space. So let's bring this to the front. Grab both of these and I'm going to slice this out. Now I can delete that, and then this would fit right in here. So you could do, bring that back a little bit here. This font, RL Socks. So let's go over here, go to recent, click on that. Let's bring our letters together. Let's change that color. If you highlight over it, if you want it all to be together, so first thing I would do is I would hide this. If you want to put this all together, you can just highlight over it. Or you can come over here and you can actually click one, hit your shift button, and just keep clicking while your shift button is down and go through all of them. Okay, and then you could attach this. Well, you can either attach it or weld it. Let's go ahead and attach it. And then let's bring this back. Let's change this to a green color. I'm going to ungroup to letters so I can move this a little bit more. And you can even rotate it if you want to. All that together, and I want to attach that. All right, so let's say we were just playing around here and we want to cut something like that. So then you could come through, group that, go to make it, and because I attached those letters, they will cut in place. Mary and Christmas, okay? And then that's sliced out of there. All right, so that's just another example of what you can do with the text. Being, like I said, around the holiday time, it's nice to have different options which you can do inside of Cricut Design Space. So I just wanted to show you a couple different options that you guys could do with the text that are on here. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. I'm always willing to make little videos for you guys if you need them. If you're interested in this little penguin, he is on my my blog. He is a free download, free SVG you guys can have if you want it. I will leave the link in the description here. With that said, like I said, if you guys have any questions, please let me know. Feel free to reach out either in the Facebook group or drop a comment on here. Have a great day, guys. Thanks for being here.